You don't want 300 million Americans putting their money under the mattress. I mean, this economy doesn't work well without the lubrication of credit and trust, and that's been lost, and it's a huge problem. What you have is the major institutions of the world all wanting to deleverage. They want to take down their assets and liabilities. They want to, what seemed so easy to borrow against a year ago, now it looks like rat poison to them. So they're trying to deleverage. There is only one institution in the world that can leverage up in a way that's at all a countervailing force to that. That's the United States Treasury.
Are you approving of what has been taking place along the stages that got us to where we are now?
Well,
whether it's Bear Stearns or Lehman Brothers or AIG or Freddie and Fannie or what you've done with Goldman Sachs and the rest?
Yeah, I think that basically the right things have been done, but no one saw the tsunami coming, fully. And so when Bear Stearns came along, it looked like if you stopped the flood at that point, you didn't have to worry about being downstream from it. And I think the Fed did the right thing there. And I really thought that would probably halt runs on other major institutions, but it didn't. We have seen wave after wave. And admittedly, there's been somewhat of an ad hoc response to it. But I'd rather have an ad hoc response than no response at all. And I don't think the Treasury could remotely have gone to Congress 3 or 4 months ago and laid out the scenario of what's happened and been credible and gotten the necessary tools. I think it took a crisis like this.
And asking for the power it was asking for and the levels it was asking for.
No, they wouldn't have gotten it. So I think it's been, kind of like a tragic play to this point. But at this point, I think it's clear, and it will be clear to a majority of the Congress, I think it's clear to the American people, that there is only one countervailing force to a world where financial institutions are trying to sell instruments every day and where credit has dried up, and that's the United States Treasury.
But at the same time, there has been, and Congressmen and women will tell you this, a resistance across the country because they think, as you well know, it's a bailout of Wall Street, and that they are sitting there in their own economic life, and nobody's coming along to say, we're here to help you, we're from the government.
Yeah. Well, the patient that's on the floor with a cardiac arrest is not Wall Street. It's the American economy. I mean,
do you think they understand that yet? Because that's the question of communication.
Yeah, I think they probably don't. And I think anytime you couple the term Wall Street with bailout or something like that, I don't like what's going on at Wall Street. I don't like what's going on in executive compensation. But I don't want to give a lecture to this body that's out there, having had the heart attack. I want to get it back functioning. And as a practical matter, I mean, if you were at Bear Stearns and you were a shareholder, you lost 90 to 95% of your money. A good many lost their jobs. They lost very cushy lives, many of them. If you were at Lehman, the same thing happened. If you were at AIG, the shareholders are getting creamed on these things. And those shareholders are not just a bunch of big shots in Wall Street. Those are pension funds, and those are investors all over the country. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Justice won't be perfect on it. I mean, you may be very mad at some guy that walked away with a huge golden parachute, but that really isn't the important thing. I mean, if Pearl Harbor came along, you could have said the planning was wrong by the military ahead of time, or maybe the battleship shouldn't have all been in the harbor and all that kind of thing. Right. It doesn't make any difference.
It's it's
Pearl Harbor, and you better not spend weeks and weeks and weeks trying to assign blame or deciding on a complete plan for fighting the whole war, and letting a committee decide where the battleship should go and all of that. You better spring into action with the best people you have.
You have never seen anything like this in your life.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.